Corn School is brought to you by BASF and Pride Seeds.
Bern Tobin here for the Corn School. We're just east of Sarnia today, joined by Dan Foster, Pride Market Agronomist. How you doing today?
Fantastic, Bern. You know, it's been a tough spring. I think I've pulled my hair out a little bit, but we're finally seeing the short strokes as we come to the end of June here.
Awesome. Hey, one of the things that we've seen a lot with this corn crop, obviously got in late, some tough conditions, variability, all kinds of different variability. And in this field right here, you've seen something you've never seen before.
Yeah, that's right, Vern. I got the phone call earlier this week that this grower's corn was starting to fall over. Best field of corn, you know, we're looking at darn near 8-leaf stage corn coming inside dressing as 28, and calls me and says his corn's falling over while he's standing in the field, something I haven't heard of. Obviously we got some issues. He says there's no roots on the corn. I've read about rootless corn in the past, or floppy corn. You can see a lot on Twitter right now about that. So I used Dr. Google and did some learning through there, and yeah, it started coming in here, and you can see when you look down the row, you see the odd plant that's tipped over, fallen over a little bit. It was a lot worse earlier this week. It was, we were in the high 30s. It's 30 today, but they got a little shot of rain last night through here, and you can see the corn's already starting to gain itself back. But basically what was happening, we call it rootless corn syndrome or floppy corn, is you hit that V2 to V4 stage, and that corn just wants to send out its nodal roots, and those nodal roots are going to anchor. Generally they're about 3/4 of an inch below the surface, and they start anchoring that plant out. Well, what we had here was the nodal roots were actually starting to die. Why is that happening? Well, they had a big pounding rain on the May long weekend. 2-inch pounding rain, and the ground then just got hot, dried right out, started to crack, and where we were finding these corn plants that had issues were in the cracks. So digging them up, those nodal roots were in dry, hot soil, and basically they were dying because they couldn't go to moisture, and they just basically dried out and burn off. So then what you have is just seminal roots holding that plant down. Well, it was very windy this week, and we're planted east-west, and we had a strong wind out of the north, and basically those plants were kind of weeble-wobbling and then just would tip over. So are they dead? No, they were still holding on with some good roots, as you can see here, and some roots here. They're still alive, and what will happen now, and you can see this one's starting to regrow some new nodal roots, and what will happen now is you will have some goosenecking at harvest. Small enough plants, though, shouldn't be a big issue. And these plants will recover, but yeah, we're going to see some yield loss for sure. What else caused it? So we had maybe some soil that got compacted because of that hard rain. This is fallen wheat on a stale seed bed. It's very mellow, nice, pretty loose dirt. But where it cracked open was really, because that hard pounding rain compressed it down. One of the other things that you can do to try and prevent this is to make sure, and we talk about it all the time as agronomists and on Corn School, and all of us say it, is we need to be planted 1 3/4 deep to 2 inches deep. This corn, whether it was after that pounding rain for whatever reason, you dig it up, and we're looking at this corn being about 1 1/4 inches deep.
Too shallow.
Too shallow. Was it too shallow when he planted? Hard to say. I wasn't here. But let's make sure we're planting that 1 3/4 inches deep at least, to 2 inches deep. That's really a key that I constantly want to say, and I'm sure I'm guilty at times of myself not planting deep enough. But we were in a tough spring, and we had ground that just 90%, 85% fit. Just a little bit more would have been great, but we were working against the weather. So.
Awesome. So you mentioned, I guess maybe 5% of the plants across this field are impacted. Some of them are going to grow out of it. We might be left with some goosenecking, but we're going to lose some yield there. But overall, they might be all right.
I think overall, yeah, and the reading I'm reading about, those plants will reroot. This one here was leaning out of the ground like this, off to this direction. You can see it's starting to throw new nodal roots in. This side was dead, but once it gets another rain, if we get some more rain this weekend, they will reroot, and that plant will kind of come up like this, I guess you'd say. So, are we in a complete, is this plant dead? It could be under extreme conditions if we don't get any rain for quite some time, but overall, you know, we got some pretty good roots here, and that plant's still going to hold on with those.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for giving us the shout out on the story. And as I say, hope that hair grows in soon.
Ha! Well, I can't pull any more out this spring, that's for sure.
Good stuff. Hey, thanks so much.
You bet.